Hello there. My name is Kenneth van Messem, founder of High Performance Coaching. And today I want to talk about different patterns people are running. Now, why are we going to take a look at that? Because our lives are built up out of routines, out of habits. And if we're not aware of them, we can change them. So it's very important that we see what we are doing before we can create a lasting transformation. Now, the first pattern that we often see, which is where most people fall under, is the circle. And what I mean by that, just imagine we have our starting point, let's call it point A. We have the point that we're moving towards, or our desire, point B. And what people do is they start at point A, they move a little towards point B, and then they circle back to point A again. So they're actually stuck into place. They get a little bit of result, and then they always fall back to their default setting. Now, the perfect example of this is the resolutions, New Year's resolutions. I know all of you have heard about it, or the fancy claims like, I'm going to lose 10 kilograms, I'm going to quit smoking, I'm going to get a promotion at work, whatever. We've all heard them, and we're pretty sick of hearing them, honestly. So resolutions, what happens there? It's very simple. People are motivated, that they see, okay, the new year is going to start. I want to better myself. I know I'm stuck in place, and I want to branch out. I want to get out of here. I want to get my desired results. I want to live my dreams. Very good intentions. However, when we look at the numbers, 2 weeks into the new year, 95% of the people have failed. If you look 2 weeks further, so 1 month into the new year, about 98% has failed. And that's a staggering number. That means at most 2% will reach their goal. So the odds are not really in your favor. And with this video, I'm hoping to change that. So it could look something like this. For example, let's say the person says, I'm going to lose 10 kilograms. So on the first day of January, I'm going to start eating right and I'm going to exercise. And they might do it for 2 or 3 days. And then they talk to themselves, I deserve a break. I've already worked so hard. That 1 day break comes into 2, comes into 3. And now they feel like, okay, I already fucked up for this year. I'll start again next year. And this is a very extreme example, I know, but basically that's what it boils down to. They move a little in the right direction, but it feels so uncomfortable. It's so hard, so much out of their comfort zone that they circle right back to where they feel safe, where they feel normal. So bad place to be in. What we want to do is we want to cut the circle so that it falls flat and it forms a straight line. And that's going to be our third pattern of today. So I'll explain this one later. I'm running ahead of myself. First, let's get to the zigzag. The zigzag is the second pattern people run. And we often see this in sales teams. So for example, if you are at a sales team or you work with a sales team, they get deadlines every month. So they need to get a quota in order for them to be a high performer. What happens at the beginning of the month, they push really, really hard. So that they really see, okay, we're getting results. And then they see, for example, after a week, oh, we're already at 70%, but they still have 3 weeks left. So what's the brain going to do? It's going to think, take it easy. We still have time. Lay back, chill, no pressure. So they lose all their momentum, all their speed, and they take their foot off the gas, really. That's what happens. So they brake, they take their foot off the gas, and they come to a stop. But when the end of the month comes near, so they only have 4 or 5 days, and they see, shit, I still have to do 30% of my quota. Then they start to panic and they need to get in gear again. So they need to start everything up, which is just exhausting. It's not a good use of their energy, not a good use of their time. If they would keep that force, or even 80% of the force and the power they start with, and run it through the whole month, they would get much better results, and they would be less exhausted, less stressed because of it as well. Because it is just really stressful and exhausting. I'm repeating myself here, but that's what it is. It's stressful and exhausting to go, stop. Not a good idea. And that's when we come to the third pattern. And that's the pattern where most of us want to be in, Hopefully you want to be in there as well, because that's what we're doing here is we're getting you into a straight line. We're going to break the patterns that are not working. We're going to break that circle. We're going to stop the zigzagging, and we're going to move from a straight line from A to B. Of course, I know it is not possible to get 100% straight line. Just look at a plane. If a plane flies from Miami to Los Angeles, it's not in a straight line over there. They make small adjustments along the way, but we want to keep those adjustments as small and as little as possible. So we want to get there in the most efficient way that we can. Now, what do we see here? People tend to do this when they are forced by outside pressure. And this is something I see every day in my work, because I work in the fitness branch. So I help people get the body, the mind, everything that they need to perform at a higher level. What I see is the doctor tells them, you have to change your ways or you're going to die in 2 years. And all of a sudden they know, fuck, I got to stop smoking. I got to eat better. I got to start moving more. And all these things they already knew before. It's nothing new that I tell them, but they haven't lived it yet because there was no pressure. Now, the problem here is, again, if we're forced by outside pressure, it means we are running at the end of the deadline. It's getting very, very close to midnight, and we don't want that. We want to be proactive and create that pressure ourselves. We want to create that motivation, that desire ourselves. That way, it leaves us more room, more space, and you will get a higher quality of life because of it. So don't wait until something else forces you to do it. It is just not the best way to live your life. Now, these are the 3 patterns that people run. And you might think, okay, that sounds really well. That sounds really good. But what does that mean for me? Well, that's why we have the next slide. So the next slide is your inner stance. And the inner stance, it's nothing more than a position of which you come from. So what we want to do, as you can see here on the mountain, so we have point A, point B. B is our goal. A is where we're at. What we're going to do is we're going to think like the person in point B, the person that already has the goal that we're after. That person will have different habits, do different actions, say different things, stop doing things that they are doing in point A, and they will be more efficient in their way up, well, in this example, in the way down of the mountain, because they know where the obstacles are. They know what they should and they should not do. It's much easier to get an overview from the top than it is to get at the bottom from the mountain. So, and you see it here as well, be, do, have. A lot of people think I have to have confidence, then I can do the action, and then I can be whatever I want to be. But that's not the case. The case is I can be that person right now so that I do all the actions, and then I will have the confidence. So we're going to switch it around. We're going to start from our dream goal, and we're going to work our way back there. And when we operate from that inner stance, it is so much easier to do all the right things, to get the actions, and to really create a lasting, sustainable transformation. But in order to do that, your old self must die. And that's something that your brain just isn't very comfortable with. It will do everything. It will use time. It will use excuses to not deal with the death of that old person. So it's something that we'll have to take in consideration as well. So there are tactics, there are things we can do, things we can implement in our life to make it easier on ourselves. But this is what it all boils down to. Your old self must die in order for the new you to rise. Now, I know this might sound a little bit vague, and you might try to get it started yourself, which is fine, which is great if you can do that. But no, if you have any questions or you're not sure about something, just send me a message, okay? Send me an email, send me a message on Facebook, and I'm more than willing to discuss this whole procedure with you. I'm willing to get you step by step through all the things so you can start creating success and powerful, lasting results in your life. I wish you all the best. If something pops up, send me the message, and I'm more than happy to hear what you have been able to create with this information. See you later.